world was still trying to define civilization itself. While some societies were learning how to build cities, India was building universities. While others were discovering basic medicine, Indian scholars were performing complex surgical procedures. While numbers were still evolving, India introduced zero, a concept that would eventually power computers, rockets, and the digital age. This is not mythology. This is documented history, and it may change the way you see the ancient world. In ancient India, knowledge was not treated as power, it was treated as responsibility. Education was not reserved for elites alone, it was considered a sacred duty. Learning was not an exception, it was a way of life. Students gathered under teachers in forest academies, studying mathematics, astronomy, philosophy, medicine, and logic, not as separate subjects, but as parts of one unified understanding of reality. In the 5th century CE, Nalanda University rose in northern India. It became one of the world's first great residential universities. More than 10,000 students, over 2,000 teachers. Scholars traveled thousands of miles from China, Korea, Tibet, and Southeast Asia to study here. At a time when education was limited in many regions, India had already built a global knowledge network. Nalanda wasn't just a school, it was an intellectual ecosystem. Debate was encouraged, ideas were tested, inquiry was honored. Centuries earlier, around the 6th century BCE, a physician named Sushruta documented over 300 surgical procedures. He described more than 120 surgical instruments, techniques that resemble modern reconstructive surgery. This was not primitive experimentation, it was systematic observation. Human anatomy studied with discipline, procedures recorded with precision. Medicine was not guesswork, it was science. Then came something invisible, zero, a symbol for nothing that changed everything. Without zero, there is no modern mathematics, no algebra, no calculus, no computers, no space exploration. Sometimes the most powerful discoveries are the ones you cannot see. In Delhi stands an iron pillar over 1,600 years old, exposed to rain, heat, and pollution, yet it remains remarkably resistant to rust. Modern scientists continue to study its composition. It is not just a relic of history, it is a statement of engineering sophistication. But perhaps the most important story is not that India was once great, it is that curiosity was part of its cultural DNA. The pursuit of knowledge, the courage to question, the belief that learning never ends. This wasn't accidental progress, it was intentional inquiry. The real question is not what ancient India achieved. The real question is, can we awaken that same curiosity today? Because the future does not belong to those who dominate. It belongs to those who understand. And history reminds us, great civilizations are not defined by power. They are defined by knowledge and the courage to seek it.